It's becoming so stupidly hard and dangerous to have a debate about anything these days, anything the left wants shut down at any rate. Today, Channel 9 banned One Nation leader Pauline Hanson from appearing again on the Today Show after she said this about some of the people being locked down in the 9 Melbourne Housing Commission towers.
The fact is that a lot of them are drug addicts as well. They've actually medication, they're getting their medication, they're alcoholics, so they're being looked after that way. A lot of these people are from non-English speaking backgrounds, probably English is their second language, who haven't adhered to the rules of social distancing. They all use a lot of the same laundry. So
I told Channel 9 first told Hanson that she was being banned for being racist and divisive. Racist? But in his public statement, 9 dropped that stupid claim of racism and said instead that this morning's accusations from Pauline Hanson were ill-informed and divisive. And at a time of uncertainty in this health crisis, Australians have to be united and supportive of each other and sing Kumbaya. Well, I've made that last bit up. But we can't criticise suddenly? Why not? I mean, what the hell's not to criticise about Victoria's bungling of its quarantine system and about people breaking the social distancing laws? And what media outlet with any self-respect would ever ban debate? Debate is by its nature divisive, and the alternative, we call that propaganda. But to this other accusation, this excuse for banning Pauline Hanson, that she was ill-informed, is that actually true? Joining me a short while ago was Pauline Hanson. Pauline Hanson, thank you so much for joining me. Channel 9 has banned you. They said you were divisive and ill-informed. Let's start with divisive. Were you divisive, and should that be a reason for banning anyone?
I don't believe I was divisive at all, Andrew. I've raised issues that have concerned me for the past 24 years, and I will keep speaking out about them. I believe that people come to Australia, English should be your first language, and you should learn English and know how to communicate with people and assimilate into our society. And I blame governments that people have been in this country for many, many years and still don't know how to speak English.
Well, let's go now to Channel 9's claim that you were ill-informed. Let's go through what you said. First of all, you said that a lot of the residents were drug addicts and getting methadone, or they were alcoholics. Now, personally, I think a lot is exaggerated. I don't know about a lot. But on the methadone issue, well, here's the Premier himself, plus the Channel 9 reporter, Mark Burrows, saying much as you did. Have a listen to this.
There has been an enormous amount of work go on right throughout the night in order to provide food, essentials, drug and alcohol support.
Food, medicine, even methadone has to be delivered.
So, Pauline, what was ill-informed about what you just said? And is there anything that you said that you actually regret on that point?
No, I don't. Andrew, what I read was in the Australian newspaper about the methadone and there is alcohol addiction and other problems, OK? I shouldn't probably have said a lot, OK? I probably shouldn't have said that. But the fact is that because I raised what was also raised in the Australian, Channel 9 have decided to ban me. Actually, I really don't care. I couldn't care less about whether I go on Channel 9 again. All I care about is those charities that I have actually been supporting for years now, either through Sunrise or Channel 9. They're the ones that are going to miss out. You know, the Men's Shed and Meals on Wheels. But anyway, not to worry. I've got my Facebook page. I connect with people. I travel the country, and I really don't care about Channel 9 or Channel 7.
Well, if you were ill-informed on the methadone, I have to say Channel 9's own reporter was ill-informed, as was The Guardian reported the Australian reported it, Herald Sun reported it, most of the media reported the methadone line, so I'm not quite sure. Well, let's try with this one. The second issue, you said a lot of these people in the towers are from non-English speaking backgrounds, probably English is their second language, as you just said, and they had, well, here's the Premier himself on this very point. Have a listen to this.
There are cultural and language barriers in terms of appropriately communicating with people.
Well, once again, Pauline, did you seem ill-informed on that point?
No, I wasn't ill-informed in that point, Andrew, and it's been the case, you know, across Australia. It doesn't matter whether you're in Victoria, whether you're in New South Wales, the western suburbs, or whether you're in Brisbane and areas in western suburbs of Brisbane. But it is a big problem, and unless we address it, we're not going to have a society that will see themselves as Australians. They pushed for many years for multicultural Australia, and it's not good for us.
And as for your point about whether they're following the rules or not, I have to say the police are not put there for no reason, I should imagine. And the Premier himself, speaking generally, not specifically of these people, has said that people weren't following rules. So I don't know how wrong you were on that. But to your broader point, Pauline, or to the broader point here, whether people agree with you or not, is the fact that you say something that's got some on the left really upset a reason for Channel 9 banning you, banning a debate?
Andrew, what's changed? It's always the same. You know, if I say something that upsets the left, let's try and shut her down. Even some of those on the right, let's shut her down. And I speak on behalf of a lot of Australians. I've just done a big tour through Queensland for the past week. The number of people that came up and said to me, you know, you're right, you've got the guts to say what we're thinking. And if we are going to allow the left and these people to shut us down, the thought process, we won't have true democracy in our nation. And as long as I'm a Member of Parliament, I'm going to keep speaking out and saying what I feel, what needs to be said, if we're going to have a cohesive society. Now, I'm up for election in 2 years' time. If they don't want me, good, don't vote for me. That's as simple as that. Until then, they've got me for the next 2 years, and if you don't like it, stick Vickies.
I just wonder what's going on with Channel 9, Pauline. As you noticed, probably, that they also own 2GB. Alan Jones is gone. And I think the kind of people that have been moving in, Steve Price is gone, Ross Greenwood's gone, the kind of people they're moving in are people that are determined not to rock the boat, it seems to me. I mean, Jim Wilson is the latest hiring. I saw him on the weekend saying he wants people not to know which way he votes. That'll suit him. So from a Conservative station, it's blanded down. Now you've got the boot from Channel 9. What do you think is going on with that organisation?
That's exactly what I've heard, that it is moving to the left, and people who are running the organisation are not really in tune with what the average Australian thinks out there, and they're in fear. Everyone's in fear of what the left is going to say or do. And if you put a foot wrong, what do they say? We're going to pull your fund, we're going to pull your advertising. And looking at my Facebook page, Andrew, and I've got nearly 350,000 followers on my Facebook page. All of it was support, no negativity. And I was also told, if you go to Channel 9's page, they had a big response. Most of the people on that page supported my views. So they're not in step with what the average person wants. And the people of Australia are fed up to see people like myself. I haven't said anything, as Ali said, that I was being racist. Not being racist at all. Having criticism is not racism. And that's why they keep throwing at me all the time that I'm racist. I'm not racist. And people misuse that word when they disagree with anything that you have to say. So I wish the Australian people, you know this? That's the Australian flag. That's who we are, Australians. It's about being proud of who we are. We speak English, and being proud of the men and women that have fought for our democracy and our freedom of speech. And that is so important to hold on to that. And I will keep speaking out. I'm not disrespectful to people, but I will call it out the way that I see it, which is in tune with a lot of Australians.
I just want to pick up on one point that you just raised about the support you got on the Channel 9 website. It's not just that Channel 9 has stopped you from speaking. The greater point here is that they've stopped their own audience from hearing you. They don't trust their own audience to make a careful, rational discussion on the facts, whether you're right or wrong, to decide for themselves. That is the greatest insult to their own audience. Pauline Hanson, thank you so much indeed for joining me.
Thanks for having me on, Andrew.
And joining me, Michael Kroger, former Victorian Liberal President, Stephen Conroy, former Federal Labor Minister. Stephen, was Channel 9 right to ban Pauline Hanson?
Absolutely. Her comments were divisive, her comments were nasty, ill-informed. These are a group in our community that need our support right now. They are going through the toughest lockdown in Australia through no fault of their own. For Pauline to attack them and criticise delivering much-needed materials to them just shows how truly mean-spirited, out of touch and divisive she is. She's prepared to trot out a bunch of pseudo right-wing rubbish lines just to generate herself headlines. I've got some news for Pauline. She gets about 4% of the vote in Australia. That's it. She gets a bigger block of votes in Queensland. She doesn't represent mainstream Australia. She represents a ratbag element like her comments are. And they
Stephen,
shouldn't be tolerated.
I agree that her comments seem to lack sympathy for the many people who did nothing
Well, that's because you're
wrong.
good-natured and generous.
I've got that. No, I've got that. I've got that. But you said ill-informed right-wing rubbish. In fact, a lot of the claims she made were made by the Premier and Channel 9 journalists.
He was describing why they needed help. She was using those facts as the reason they shouldn't be given help. So don't try.
No. But all right, that's the opinion. What I'm saying is, she wasn't ill-informed. You might say mean-spirited, but the ill-informed line, I'm not quite sure is correct.
She absolutely twisted the English language, and for you to try and pretend that her comments are on par with Daniel Andrews' comments is very unusually harsh of you, Andrew.
No, I think you're mistaking me. I said the facts, what she made of the facts, you object to, and I can understand that. But the facts themselves, I'm not so sure. Michael Kroger, what do you make of it?
Well, Stephen's right to the extent that she lacked empathy. There's no doubt about that. But for goodness sake, Channel 9, I mean, where's Kerry Francis Bullmore-Packer when you need him? I mean, this is ridiculous, banning people. I mean, aren't you allowed to lack empathy? Aren't you allowed to be divisive? Aren't you allowed to have a view that people disagree with? Clearly not. And we're now, Andrew, as we've seen, more and more global fascism, which coming from the left, which basically denounces and stops you from giving views, airing views which are different to the mainstream left views. Everyone's a racist and they're a sexist and everything else. I mean, you know, if you disagree with Pauline Hanson, if you like, but of course she's got a right to say those things. Now, those electorates, there's 39 suburbs, by the way, Andrew, that have been closed down in Victoria, 39 suburbs. Every one of those suburbs votes Labor, delivers a majority vote for Labor. What does that mean? It probably means that there is a higher degree of migrant communities, and the government in Victoria have failed to communicate properly to those people, and Andrews has admitted that. That's where the real issue is with this. But banning Pauline Hanson, how absurd, for goodness sake.
No, I'm sorry, but Andrew, I've got to just remind Michael Kroger, who is old enough to remember the much sainted Kerry Packer deciding he didn't like a show on his network, phoned up in the middle of the show, thank you, and had it pulled from the air because he didn't like it. So don't sit here and pretend.
Wait a minute, some context here. Mulray was not sitting there saying, this is my view of Australia. No, hang on, he wasn't giving his political opinions, let's be frank. The reason that show was pulled off was that he was showing a video of a naked guy running across the screen with toilet paper between his buttocks, okay? I kind of think that isn't really on par with what we're talking about here.
Censorship of a comedian, something that Sky News rails about. I mean, it's an outrage.
I didn't see a single joke being censored there, to be honest. I saw something else.
Stephen, they're not on a different rule. They're not on a par.
He pulled it off halfway through the show.
Yeah,
quite right too.
Actually terminating the program. Who knows what else?
And he was probably right to do it, Stephen.
Good try.
They're entirely different, Steve. They're entirely different.
No cigar.
Excellent. That's all right.